Folks, as I shared on my daily financial news from September 11th, the expectations for CPI headline are 3.6. To give you some color, we got as low as 3. Last month it went to 3.2. Now expectations are 3.6. And why are we having this conversation? Because the one and only Taylor from Life Goal Investments think they're going higher, and I'm going to take the other side. So we're going to put the line in the sand at 3.6. He's going to share why I think they're going higher. I will share lower. And then let us know in the comments, who do you think won the debate? And the good news is we don't have a long to wait because we'll know Wednesday morning. Taylor, the floor is yours, man. 3.6 is not high enough. You think it's going higher?
I think we're going to come in at an over on 3.6. Yeah. What we've
Wow.
seen is just some massive input boosts. So, I mean, oil is up since Jackson Hole. So Jackson Hole was what, August 25th?
Yep.
Oil's up 12% since then.
Ooh.
Oil's
Uh-huh.
up 30% in 2 months. Like that is just a massive input cost into basically everything that we have here in the United States because 70% of goods get trucked to our houses, gets trucked to our grocery stores, etc. And
Yeah.
that's we're talking about CPI here, not core, right? Core
No,
is a different story.
different
So
story.
the
Yeah.
energy component's big. And then just in general, what we've seen is a massive reflationary pressure across the commodity complex. So it's
Mm.
not just oil. If you look at the commodity index is up about 15%. And so input costs across the board seem to be putting higher pressure on input costs. And that's something that I think is going to weigh on the inflationary number that we get here on Wednesday.
Yeah. So do you feel like you just want to say the over, or do you want to just, pick a number out of the air and,
Yeah, I
call it?
think we're going to come in somewhere like a whole 0.5% above where we were last month. So what does that put us at? 3.7,
Yeah.
3.75, 3.8, somewhere in that ballpark.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a big it's a big move, and I think that the trend, unfortunately, is directionally that way.
mm, that will get the Fed's attention. And do you think that's enough to put a September rate hike on the table?
Man, they need the market to come a long ways to get September on the table. So no, I don't think so. But I think it absolutely puts the next meeting on the table. And I think they yank really hard on the market to pull them in that direction based on, again, reflationary pressure and a lot of the input costs.
So a really hawkish pause.
A really hawkish pause is what I would expect. Correct.
All right. So now when I look at the data, I'm going to take the under of 3.6, and I'm going to go. I'm going to get really ballsy here because again, I don't mind being wrong. I'm going to say it sticks 3.3. Right.
Okay.
Three
So
three.
by the way, we are now from each other
Yeah.
about a 0.5% off.
We are really off. So I'll give you what I am thinking. And obviously I know about the commodities and all of that. I believe energy is 11 or 12% of the basket of goods in
Yep.
headline inflation.
Yep.
That's going up.
Yep.
I believe the largest part of the basket is shelter,
No
roughly
doubt.
42%.
No doubt.
I have been talking for so long that the August data was going to get better and thus reported in September that I feel like I have to stick to that, and I'm going to. Just so everybody remembers how bad last month was, shelter was responsible for 90% of the stated inflation.
Ouch.
So
Ouch.
I'm expecting shelter to come off meaningfully. And to be clear, meaningfully for the next several months. But this is the month where it will first start to crack. And I believe a crack in shelter will cover up for the energy rise, just numerically speaking.
Yep.
On top of that, Kroger, one of the largest grocery stores in the country, highlighted in their earnings call that they've had to have some disinflation in food, which is another large component. So
Yep.
there is no question that energy's up. If I had some buddies in California send me a note saying, Zuber, you're an idiot. Gas is $6 again. I'm like, yeah, I understand, right? Oil, gas, I get it. But that's 11, 12%. If you get shelter and then you throw in, we're lucky enough to get food, that's like 60 some percent. So
Yep.
my bet, and it is a bet, it's a guess, is that the largest components just outweigh oil. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it just from a broad standpoint, that may be the direct percentage ownership of energy's equivalent in the CPI calculation, but I think
Right.
energy has a much bigger, bats well above its weight, or punches
Yeah,
above its weight rather, because it's an input cost on literally everything. It's an input cost on housing. You go, how is an input cost on
yeah,
housing? Those houses don't get built without a
yeah,
truck delivering the cement and grinding up that foundation and stuff like that, and
yeah.
all the tractor work and excavation, et cetera, et cetera. You get my point there.
Yeah, no,
But
you're absolutely right. But but again, I think you're making a similar mistake that you made about a year ago. You're anticipating it too soon.
Yep. Okay, that's fair. I think the violent nature of the move is
Okay,
what's is what is going to drive it quicker to market
okay.
than what you might be expecting. Again, 30% in just over 2 months is just a massive
Yes.
move. But I'll talk out of both sides of my mouth a little bit there, because I did just say in the past 2 weeks it's inflated 12% oil. But the commodity complex in general has been moving the wrong direction, something that I don't love. And I think that you still have that massive underlying pressure that's not a good, it's not the measurable of CPI. What is it? It's labor. Labor is
Yeah.
still the massive underlying pressure. People are going to get are continuing to get raises
No.
above the rate of inflation at this point, and that
Yeah,
drives higher
real
inflation.
wage growth, not nominal, real wage growth.
Right.
And I think that's going to be the cause for the next 5 years. We're going to see real wage growth for the bottom 50%, no doubt. It may even go higher than that, but it's certainly the bottom 50. And that's why I personally think that the chances for the stock market having a flat decade or a flat 5 years or whatever you want to call it's pretty good, because I think you're going to eat margin to pay your labor more, just a la the 1970s is where my head's at.
Yeah, and what's interesting is a gentleman that's very bright. He was the head of Ray Dalio's research department
Mhm.
for 10 years, something like that. He just broke off and is doing his own thing now. But one of the things that he talks about a lot is he says, "Hey, listen, don't do what these two knuckleheads, being me and you, are doing right now, talking about underlying components of, hey, I heard car prices have done
Yeah,
this, and thus that's going to be the reflection in CPI, et cetera." He said, "Listen, zoom out a little bit and look at wages, because wages drive everything." And
I
I think
totally
it's
agree.
and you've made that comment yourself. But
I agree.
nonetheless, I think that he reiterates it and makes really good points. He just says, "Listen, take a step back. When people get paid, they spend it, and that's the
Yeah.
way that America,
That's the
our
American
culture.
you just
That's
defined
it.
the
We're
American consumer
consumers.
right there.
We're consumers. We're consumers. So if we get paid, we're going to spend it. So if inflation is going up in labor, inflation's going to
Yeah.
follow."
So that's just CPI headline. Do you have thoughts about CPI core if we X out oil and energy? I think last month was 4.3. Do you think that goes down?
Yes, that probably. So full disclosure, I haven't given much thought to the underlying core, which is important. But I've been focused on CPI headline because I think that energy is such a massive
Yeah,
mover just
it could move
recently.
the market. It could move the market. Yeah.
Yeah. So where are expectations again?
I haven't actually seen it. I've only seen headline at 3.6, and it might have been in the article, but I was so shocked at 3.6 I
Three
couldn't get
six, you couldn't even
past.
get you couldn't get past it. Yeah.
I
And
couldn't
now
get
I'm telling
past
you
it.
the over, and like, Taylor, you're an idiot. We'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be
Well,
fun.
yeah, we'll see in about 48 hours. One of us is
So
going to be
one of the two of us
spectacularly wrong,
is officially going to be an idiot.
and we will own it next week. That much I promise. That
Oh,
much I promise.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's
Yeah, no, but core will be much more tame, much more
yeah,
mundane than what we have. And what should happen over time is core and headline should
yeah,
come together, right? And
yeah.
that's the process we're kind of seeing play out right now, where headline is coming in and core, even if it says stays flat, like headline is coming in the direction. I'm sorry,
Mm.
I'm sorry. Core is coming in the direction of headline, and
Yeah, they're being
that's historically what you see, over time.
yeah. Historically speaking, if you look at the charts, core is below headline, right? What we've been experiencing the last, I don't know how long it's been, 16 months is kind of a
Yep,
anomaly.
yep, yep.
And then I guess we'll just throw out PCE. I know we just got PCE for last month. That's the one. PCE core obviously is what they look at the most. Um, if we get a pause in September, I guess it's going to really be what is that number for the November meeting?
What is that number for the November meeting?
What I mean by
Um,
that is that's going to be the one that'll move the Fed, right? If that starts to go higher, then they'll raise in November.
yeah, fair. I do think, in as much as they say that is, their strict focal point, like the energy thing has such a disproportionate weight on people's minds that I think that
Yeah, remember all
also.
the screenshots and the selfies,
Oh,
all
and
that.
they're coming back. You're starting to see them online again. My buddy sent one from Southern California. It said 693
Yeah, I
And
got one.
again, it's
Yeah, I
just like
got
a
one.
billboard, like, we hate you. I'm punching you in the face. Here's what oil prices are right now. And
Yeah,
that's how
and oh, by
people
the
feel.
way, yeah, we haven't even started refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, right? You can't pull that lever twice. That oil's gone.
No, you can't. And what you just had was the Saudis and Russians come out and say, we're going to contain or maintain that 1.3 million barrel cut per day production
Mhm.
for the remainder of this year. So you couple that with the strategic petroleum reserves getting refilled, and all of a sudden you go, okay, lower supply coming on from Saudis and Russia globally, and then higher demand being the U.S. government being the demanding sucking force of bringing money, oil out of the market and putting it in our tanks.
Yeah. So at the end of the day,
Nothing like buying high, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was this time a couple of months ago you could have picked some up, but anyways. So at the end of the day, I think what you're telling me is you see one more rate increase this year. I think that's where
I
you're
do.
leaning.
I do. And I don't it's hard to say that I believe that that's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
but what we're hearing from the Fed, going back over the last year and a half is, hey, we're willing to go higher. We're willing to go higher. And the market consistently says, we don't believe you. We don't believe you. And the Fed pulls them in the direction that they're saying.
We're going to find out Wednesday morning which one of us is an idiot. We will own that next week. Taylor, where can people find you?
Yeah, find us at Life Goal Investments. We're on both Instagram and on TikTok putting out daily stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much.